Imagine this exact moment. You wake up early on a Monday morning, filled with incredible inspiration. You promise yourself that this time, everything will be completely different. You are going to practice your English for a full hour every single day. You open a heavy grammar book, sit at your desk, and study with intense concentration. On Tuesday, you do it again. But by Thursday, the initial excitement begins to disappear. Your bed feels extra warm. Your daily work routine feels exhausting. And your phone notifications keep pulling your focus away. I would tell yourself that you will just skip one day and catch up later. One day turns into 3. 3 days turn into a week. And before you know it, your heavy textbook is sitting on a shelf, collecting dust. You feel deep guilt, frustration, and an uncomfortable sense of personal failure. You conclude that you simply lack the discipline, the willpower, or the magical talent required to master a foreign language. But modern neuroscience shows that you are completely wrong. You do not lack discipline, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with your willpower. The real reason you quit is that you tried to force an analytical project into your head before your brain cells had time to build an automatic physical pathway for it. Your brain was never designed to run on pure willpower for long periods. To make English a natural, permanent part of your life, you must learn how to guide your nervous system through a specific 21-day physical rebuilding cycle. Today, we are going to journey straight into your basal ganglia to discover the beautiful science of how your brain builds a new habit in 21 days and reveal the exact day-by-day biological system to make your English practice completely effortless. Hi, welcome back to English Joyride. Here, we don't just teach you standard dictionary definitions or cold classroom formulas. We explore the deep, beautiful science of how your mind and body actually process language, so you can stop suffering through boring repetition and achieve true fluency naturally. Every single week, we break down complex neurological and psychological research from world-class behavior laboratories, and we turn it into simple, clear English that anyone can understand and use immediately to transform their lives. Today's journey is going to completely flip the way you look at motivation. We are going to look at the hidden electrical traffic patterns that happen inside your skull when a behavior becomes automatic. Examine the dangerous biological trap of the marathon study mindset, and map out the precise 3-stage timeline your neurons use to turn a stressful chore into an unconscious lifestyle habit. Before we unlock these incredible hidden secrets of your mind together, make sure to click subscribe now. Why now? Because next week, we are releasing an exclusive scientific blueprint on how your brain filters background noise when listening to native speakers, and the precise focus trick to hear every single word clearly, even in a loud, crowded public space. You absolutely do not want to miss out on that specific lesson. To understand why building a new habit feels so incredibly difficult at first, we must look at how your brain cells manage daily energy. Your brain is a magnificent organ, but it is also a highly conservative machine. Even though it only makes up 2% of your total body weight, It consumes over 20% of your body's total daily oxygen and fuel. Because it uses so much energy, your nervous system is in a constant state of survival optimization. It aggressively looks for ways to automate repetitive tasks to save power. When you do something consciously and analytically, like choosing a career goal, solving a math puzzle, or analyzing a complex English conditional sentence, you are using your prefrontal cortex, the front part of your head. The prefrontal cortex is like a high-speed supercomputer. It is incredibly smart, but it burns a massive amount of chemical fuel and drains your mental battery very quickly. Your brain cannot allow the prefrontal cortex to run full programs all day, because your system would enter a state of complete exhaustion before noon. To prevent this, your brain has a highly specialized automation workshop hidden deep within its center. This workshop is called the basal ganglia. The basal ganglia's primary job is to watch your daily behaviors, find the things you repeat consistently, and quietly convert those actions into automatic, unconscious subroutines. Think of the basal ganglia as a master engineer who takes a complicated task you have to think about, builds a physical machine for it, and hides it under the floorboards of your mind. Once a behavior is successfully transferred from the conscious prefrontal cortex into the automatic basal ganglia, it becomes a habit. It consumes almost zero conscious energy. You can execute the action perfectly while your mind thinks about something completely different. Exactly like brushing your teeth in the morning or driving your car down a familiar street. When you try to start a new English routine, your prefrontal cortex has to handle the entire workload alone because the basal ganglia has not built the physical machine yet. This is why the first few days of any new habit feel so heavy, unnatural, and exhausting. You have to use your precious willpower to force your attention onto the page. Willpower is not an infinite spiritual resource. Willpower is a physical chemical liquid called glucose floating in your bloodstream. Every time you force yourself to focus, you are draining that liquid. If you try to study English for a full hour every evening after a long, stressful day at your job, you are forcing an empty tank to run a heavy machine. Your prefrontal cortex overloads. Your survival system panics, and it triggers an involuntary wave of intense boredom and resistance to protect its remaining power. You don't quit because you are lazy. You quit because your study strategy is biologically unsustainable for your energy system. To successfully build a permanent English highway inside your head without burning out, you must guide your neural networks through the classic three-part psychological loop that governs all human habits. This loop is called the habit loop, and it consists of a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the immediate environmental trigger that tells your brain to start the behavior. The routine is the actual physical action you perform, like listening or speaking. The reward is the pleasant chemical feedback your brain receives, which tells your system, "This experience felt good. We must repeat this tomorrow." Traditional language learning completely ignores this structure. Most students have no clear cue. They try to perform an impossibly heavy routine, and they get zero immediate reward because they are just staring at dry test papers. They are trying to build a machine without connecting the wires to electricity. Neuroscience shows that it takes an average of 21 days of consistent, targeted repetition to establish the foundation of a new physical pathway inside your neural tissue. This 21-day transformation is divided into 3 highly distinct, beautiful biological stages, each lasting exactly 7 days. If you understand what your brain cells are doing during these specific stages, you can stop fighting your own biology and instead work with it to build a natural, permanent habit effortlessly. Let us explore stage 1, which covers day 1 to day 7. Scientists call this the destruction phase. During these first 7 days, your brain is experiencing a state of structural chaos. You are trying to introduce a brand new behavior into a system that already has deep, comfortable grooves for your old routines. Your native language and your old relaxation habits have thick, well-insulated concrete highways inside your head. When you decide to practice English at a specific time, you are trying to break up that old pavement and clear a fresh path through a thick, dark forest. Your neurons experience this change as a literal physical resistance. The synapses are incredibly thin and fragile, like small spider webs swinging in the wind. To survive this initial destruction phase without quitting, you must apply the rule of micro habits. Do not try to practice English for an hour. Reduce your daily goal to an absurdly small, low-stakes microburst, like practicing for just 5 focused minutes a day. Your conscious adult mind might look at 5 minutes and think, 5 minutes is too short. It won't help my career. But your adult mind is thinking about content, while your brain cares about consistency. In the first 7 days, your only goal is to teach the brain cells how to show up at the starting line without panicking. A 5-minute routine requires almost 0 willpower fuel, ensuring that your prefrontal cortex never experiences cognitive overload, and your emotional alarm center stays perfectly calm and safe. Next, we reach stage 2, which covers day 8 to day 14. Scientists call this the installation phase. During this second week, the initial internal chaos begins to quiet down. Your brain realizes that this new English routine is not a temporary accident. It notes that the behavior is returning consistently every morning or evening. The hippocampus, your brain's memory architect, starts sending continuous electrical commands to grow physical connections between your cells. This is the exact moment when the thin spider webs begin to turn into a steady dirt road. However, because the road is still rough and unpaved, your system requires strict structural support to keep moving forward without falling back into old habits. To support your installation phase, you must use a powerful behavioral strategy called habit stacking. Habit stacking means taking your new 5-minute English micro routine and physically gluing it straight onto a deep, automatic habit you already perform every single day without fail. Identify an ironclad cue in your daily life. Something like making your morning coffee, washing your dishes after dinner, or putting on your shoes before you leave your house. Connect your English practice directly to that cue. Tell your system, a very millisecond I pour my hot coffee into my favorite mug, I will immediately open my notebook and speak 3 English phrases out loud to the wall. A full By stacking the new routine onto an old highway, you are hijacking the existing electrical current of your old habit. You don't need to generate new willpower fuel. The momentum of the coffee routine carries your tongue straight into the English practice automatically. Finally, we move into stage 3, which covers day 15 to day 21. Scientists call this the integration phase. During this final week, a beautiful biological miracle takes place deep inside your skull. The prefrontal cortex quietly hands over the blueprint of the English routine to the basal ganglia. The master engineer takes the tool and finishes the automatic machine under the floorboards of your mind. The dirt road transforms into a solid, concrete highway. The physical synapses become insulated with a protective layer of coating, making the electrical signals travel significantly faster and smoother. You no longer feel a heavy sense of internal friction when the cue occurs. Instead, you find yourself sliding into your English practice naturally, gracefully, and effortlessly, without needing to double-check your calendar or argue with your inner critic. To lock this integration phase into your permanent lifestyle, you must satisfy the third part of the habit loop, the rewire. Your brain recognition engine is fueled entirely by a powerful chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of anticipation and pleasure. Every time you complete your 5-minute English practice, you must instantly celebrate your small victory to flood your neural networks with dopamine. Smile at yourself in the mirror. Check off a bright blue box on a progress chart, or take a deep, relaxed breath of satisfaction. This immediate positive feedback tells your basal ganglia that this specific English routine is connected to happiness and survival. Your brain anchors the habit permanently into your identity network, ensuring that the concrete highway stays open and active for years to come. Let us quickly review the magnificent scientific timeline we traveled through today. First, focus and habit building do not rely on endless willpower. They depend on transferring behaviors from the slow, conscious prefrontal cortex into the deep automatic basal ganglia. Second, the first 7 days are the destruction phase, where your brain experiences structural friction, requiring you to use tiny 5-minute micro habits to keep your system safe from cognitive overload. Third, the second week, the installation phase, where your cells begin to grow paths, requiring you to use habit stacking to anchor English onto an old daily routine like making coffee. Finally, the third week is the integration phase, where the basal ganglia finishes the automatic machine, requiring you to use immediate dopamine rewards to weld the habit into your long-term identity network forever. Knowledge without immediate action is just a temporary decoration for your head. Here is your concrete, realistic action plan to launch your 21-day biological English transformation tomorrow morning. Tonight, pick up a small notebook or open a clean file on your phone. Choose just one single automatic habit you perform every single morning without fail, such as sitting down to eat breakfast or brushing your teeth. Write down a clear habit statement. After I finish brushing my teeth tomorrow morning, I will immediately open my phone and read exactly 3 English phrases out loud for 2 minutes. Smooth. Here is the absolute golden rule for this 21-day transformation challenge. You must completely refuse to let your perfectionist adult mind increase the difficulty of the goal. Even if you have extra energy on Wednesday, do not study for an hour. Keep the routine strictly under 5 minutes. Protect the consistency of the path rather than the volume of the text. Force your vocal cords to physical. Execute the sound waves every single morning at the exact same location. Right after the exact same cue. Maintain this clean, focused microsprint for 21 consecutive days without breaking the chain. It will require less than 5 minutes of your busy schedule and cost you absolutely zero money. But by the time you reach the 21st day, you will have performed an irreversible architectural change inside your head. You will have proven to your own nervous system that practicing English is an effortless, automatic extension of who you are. As we bring our beautiful journey to a close today, please carry this vital, comforting truth close to your heart. Quitting your old study routines or feeling slow during your past attempts is not a permanent proof of personal weakness, and it never was. It was simply a predictable technical reaction to an unscientific system that tried to force too much weight onto an unpaved road. Every single fluent speaker you admire today once stood exactly where you are standing right now, looking at their textbooks, feeling completely discouraged by their broken promises, and wondering why they couldn't stay consistent. They didn't achieve ultimate success because they possessed a magical, superior gene of discipline. They succeeded because they discovered how to shrink their goals, align their habits with their brain networks, and let their neurons map the patterns over time. Language is not a cold academic examination built to judge your flaws and make you feel small. It is a warm, living bridge designed to connect authentic human souls, share authentic life stories, and explore this magnificent planet together. Be incredibly proud of your deep dedication today. Trust the natural self-building intelligence of your neurological systems, and always remember to be completely kind to your mind. You are growing, transforming, and moving closer to total spontaneous fluency with every single heartbeat. If this deep scientific journey helped you understand your own internal habit networks a little better today, please give this video a like and subscribe to our beautiful community. Your magnificent support allows us to continue creating these deep, science-based educational documentaries for passionate language learners all across this globe. Now, mastering how to automate your daily consistency is a massive victory for your timeline. But how do you take that newly stabilized routine and train your tongue to speak those words automatically without that frustrating internal translation loop? I have designed a complete step-by-step masterclass on how to synchronize your thought centers with your vocal motor networks for spontaneous, effortless speech under pressure. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now, and let us continue this beautiful ride together. See you on the next ride.